not anyway. Like,
and we're back.
Hello, motherfuckers.
Hello. Okay, so my webcam's being what you would call like an ultimate royal prick.
Bitch.
So I'm deciding that we're going to just kind of go without the webcam for a little bit, considering this is an audio podcast anyways.
Yeah.
So sorry guys for the technical difficulties. We're going to go for probably another 30 or so minutes. And then we'll be able to do some more webcamming when we get back and I figure out this mess with my webcam.
And maybe you'll give me 20 movie posters for PlayStation 4.
Oh my god. Darian's over here tempting me like Satan.
I spend a lot of time on my PlayStation. A lot of time.
And I would love to spend more time on his PlayStation.
And I realized that the time I spend on my PlayStation could be better spent saving money for another PlayStation down the road. And so I want to get rid of it. I've been wanting to get rid of it for a while. But now that I heard that Jared has movie posters, and all I want in my life is decorations in my plain ass apartment, because I hate staring at the same thing.
There's just there's like so much value. Like those posters are valuable, but I don't know if they're that valuable. I was waiting back for someone to get back to me on that, but it's been over a week now. I was gonna wait till after the Bahamas. And I probably will still have to wait till after the Bahamas because we have like.
If I can find my Chromecast, my Chromecast,
Jesus,
I will be coming back to you with the same offer in a little bit. But anyways, let's continue. How the fuck? Okay, so your battery on your floor transformed to a McDonald's or M&M's package.
Well, I picked up the battery on the floor. It's on the desk now. And the M&M wrapper, I don't know where it came from. Zero idea. So,
okay. Well, let's talk. I don't even care. I can just like come out of the frame and into the frame because there's no fucking frame, so I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, fuck the frame, man.
I've been like, I'm glad we're getting this out there on like just like listening shit, because my phone tends to die really fast when it's on. I will turn it on from like 100% charged, and after 10 minutes it'll be 50%, and then like 20 minutes it'll be 15%. And so that's, but if I'm like listening to stuff, which is what I do when I'm on my rounds, and I was listening to that was pretty weak, man.
That was just my morning.
Oh. Okay, it'll get better throughout the lunchtime. Sure. It'll be 50%, and supper time it'll be 100. Is that what's gonna happen? It just
something
gets better.
Like that.
Yeah. But I was listening to Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz. You know who Joey Diaz is?
Sure.
He's
no in my language, but yeah.
He's a Cuban comedian, and he is funny as fuck. But he's also really like over the top, kind of with his. Like, every other word of it out of his mouth is cocksucker or asshole or fuck or cunt. Or,
oh, my dear. Oh, wow.
Like, every other word. Like, he's like Andrew Dice Clay times 10.
I was say, is Andrew Dice Clay that bad?
Andrew Dice Clay is, like, really, he's one of the raunchiest comedians out there if you really listen to him.
I don't listen to him.
No?
Ever. Like, I'm too busy doing other shit.
He's one of his poems. Jack and Joe went up a hill, both $1.25. Joe comes down with $2.50.
Oh, okay.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So,
anyways,
where are we going with this, Joey Diaz?
I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast, and Joey Diaz said that. And it was like, I was like listening to it, and I was working the midnight day shift, and he goes, you know, Joe Rogan, the only people listening to this are like security officers working like a midnight day shift. I'm sitting there like, what? Like, I'm a security officer.
They're on you.
Working a midnight day shift.
They got you on beat, buddy.
And, but I don't listen to it. I can't like turn my YouTube on, because, Well, I used to be able to because I had YouTube Red, and that was good shit because I'd be able to turn YouTube on and like turn the screen off.
Yeah.
That's what YouTube. But now I don't have that, so I'd be listening to my podcast off of like iTunes or something like that.
And if you got rid of your PS4, then you could save money for YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just
$50 a year.
$50 a year. Is that because you have a gold membership? Or
the regular membership is
the Plus.
PlayStation Plus is $50 a year.
They have they have a good Batman the Telltale series this January.
Oh yeah? Yeah, they do the two free games every month.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they're cross compatible with PS Vita normally.
Right. The only thing they're fucking cross compatible with. I mean, goddamn Xbox is cross compatible with PC now. They're doing
some most exclusives, but it's not really that worth it. Honestly.
My problem is I'm a Minecraft guy. Like, not a Minecraft guy, but I enjoy playing that game. And I would like it a whole lot more if you could play with more than 8 people on a server. Because you can only...
you would need a PC.
Right. I play it on PlayStation.
I don't know how many you can play on a PC, actually.
It's like, I don't know if it's not unlimited. But
it's to the power of the host computer.
Right. Well, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Where compared to PlayStation 4, it's 8 people. And so it's boring because... you can only do so much with 8 people.
Can your laptop handle Minecraft?
My laptop can, yes. My laptop can. My PlayStation can't. But my laptop, I have Minecraft from an Xbox, like Microsoft kind of thing. So it's different. So if I wanted to play with my friends who are all like PlayStation owners on PC, they would all need to transfer. They would all need to buy Minecraft on the PC and everything, which is complicating. So I only play like 4 or 5 people on the PlayStation. I wish it was compatible with Minecraft or with Xbox, PC, all that other shit, so we could have an open online server.
Well, so Nintendo is like playing ball with Microsoft right now.
Oh yeah,
and that's happening a lot. Like the Switch. You can play cross-compatible with the Switch to an Xbox One.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is like Xbox. Okay, I'm a PlayStation guy.
Xbox One can play with PC as well.
I'm a PlayStation guy through and through, but Xbox beats PlayStation out on a lot of different things. One being cross-compatibility.
This is an interesting discussion because this is so I've never noticed anybody but Sony hardcore fans talking shit. And I see these, like, this friend of mine he's a Sony hardcore fan, and he goes, he says, you want to shut up an Xbox One or a Microsoft or Xbox One like fanboy, then tell him this, and he just lays off a list of like Sony exclusives, and I'm like, first of all, I've never heard of any Xbox One or like Xbox fanboys being like, Sony blows.
Well, like it used to be this whole ordeal. Like, I think a lot of people who were originally PlayStation lovers were the PlayStation lovers because of the fact that Xbox charged for online play.
Yeah. And
now PlayStation is doing the same.
Well, so here's where I like to follow gaming, right? Whoever comes out of the gate winning to start a new console is usually the one who plays ball more often. But usually they're the one who is losing last generation. So if you look at Xbox 360, Xbox 360 was top of the market.
Mm-hmm.
So when Xbox 360 was turning to Xbox One, they were like, fuck the consumer. We're going to do what we want to do, whether you like it or not. And then Sony was like, nah, we're still your friend. Like that's basically how they advertised it. That's
right.
the general recap of how they advertised it. And now PS4 is top of the line. Xbox One is bottom of the line.
They have a lot. Xbox One has, in my opinion, and what I've seen, which you're an Xbox owner.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of bugs. Like a lot of, I don't know if I want to call them bugs, but issues that people don't like.
So, yeah. So
more so than PlayStation 4 does right now.
So that's the thing. But so Xbox One now is proactively trying to win everybody over. Where PlayStation 4 is like, fuck the consumer, we'll do what we want. So Xbox One is doing cross-compatibility with Nintendo Switch and PC. Rocket League and Minecraft being like the heads of those. They're also making, like if you buy digitally, you buy a game on Xbox One. If it's an exclusive, typically you can play it on PC as well, on Windows 10. So they're trying to be pro-consumer, and PS4 now that they're winning is trying to be is more like we don't have to play ball because we're winning. Which if they would just pull their heads out of their butts and realize like you don't have to the only reason why you fall against the consumer is when you go against them. So pull your heads out of your butt and start. Sorry, guys, I'm reading a thing on my computer. Would you like to report to AVG free? No. Okay. I have AVG on my computer, and I don't know why. Okay. I need to remove it. Sorry. So it's all about consumer relations, and they're not realizing that if they all just played ball, and then Nintendo's doing, and now Nintendo with the Switch, they're coming out hardcore, they're swinging. The Switch itself was a pro-consumer invention. This is the idea that you can play wherever you want, and be able to pass things along. However, now that they're winning, they're a little bit less in a hurry for certain things like, I don't know, YouTube, bringing YouTube to it, bringing Netflix to it, bringing the virtual console out. They're giving a little bit less of a shit, knowing that they have our minds and our hearts. Be pro-consumer 100% of the time. That's what I want.
Right. And
I feel like that's my biggest problem. Xbox One right now is more pro-consumer than PS4, I think. Mm-hmm. However, PS4 exclusives are great. Here's the thing, though. Xbox One learned this with Crackdown 3. The Xbox One is holding their exclusives a little closer to their sleeve now until they release it. So nobody knows what's going on with Xbox One exclusives, but that's on purpose. They're not going to tell you until they have a finished and ready product to release. Whereas Sony,
they don't.
We have no idea when we're going to get Last of Us 2.
Right.
Days Gone is maybe coming out this year. Spider-Man, I don't know if that's even been released yet.
Well, and see that's what pisses me off is they always come out with the trailers and shit. But okay, I'm gonna give GTA as an example. Originally, GTA was when did it come out? 4 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
It was supposed to come out so much earlier. Mm-hmm. And then it moved back, and same with The Last of Us, and same with all these other games. Some games didn't even have a fucking release date until 5 months until...
Right, and so when we get a Last of Us 2 release date, chances are that's going to be a year earlier than its actual release.
Right.
So everyone's talking about, they're talking shit about, Microsoft's exclusive list. Well, they're trying to play it a little less... on the cuff, right. They're trying to say, okay, we won't release information until we know this is going to be more of a finalized product, so people aren't waiting 3 to 4 years for a product.
Right.
Think about this: a video game trailer will come out 3 to 4 years before it's at least released. If you look at movie trailers, you get that in 6 months.
Right.
6 months to a year. We are 6 months out from we're less than 6 months out from Avengers 3, sorry. And we just got the trailer.
That just blows my mind, too. How fast... Okay, if you think about the quality that we have, I don't care about the storyline. The storyline is totally different than the quality of the movie. The quality of these movies and how fast it's coming out, doesn't it blow your mind?
It's Disney. They found a gold mine, and they are striking it rich as long and as fast as they can.
Right.
And they just hit a new pot by They basically they had a pickaxe, and now they have a goddamn drill machine because they bought out Fox, and they're just like, go,
dude.
It's just raining, and there's just like Disney the Prospector, Walt Disney Prospector, just
how much that deal? I saw the price tag of that deal.
It's like $50 billion, I think.
Yeah, in the 50s, in the billions. Like insane amount of money.
But they're gonna make it back.
And you goddamn well, I don't know who like the CEO and the CFO or whoever the hot big wigs are in Fox. When that company's, any company like that, anything that starts up, Paramount, it doesn't matter who it is, starts up like that and gets bought out, and like, it's not about the dream anymore. It's like the dream starts off with like, oh, we're going to make this great product, and people are going to love us, and people are going to follow us for years and years and years, like Paramount and MGM and whatever. Doesn't matter. Once you see a price tag like $50 billion, dream's like, my dream is to now just fucking
because then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah,
like it's like you're limitless. And the Fox has stated like they're putting their money into sports and news. That's what they're like. You know what? We like sports. We like Republican news. We're gonna dump all of our $50 billion into that. And good for them, because that's a life choice. If someone were to say, okay, I want to buy this Catchy podcast. I give you $50 billion. You take $25 billion. I take $25 billion. I'm going to put it all into my streaming. That's what I'm going to do, is into my video game streaming. That it's changing your priorities, Or like we just do another podcast. We call it like, I don't know, we don't call it Catchy. What was the one you wanted to call it? Spitballin'. We call it Spitballin', and then boom, like we make billions of dollars again.
So, all right, I have to talk some real seriousness here, like legit. Like, you don't see me talking serious stuff very often, but this is very serious. I have a friend of mine who we have started, and I've talked about this a couple of times in the past. The cricket thing.
Yeah, the cricket business.
We have a well-projected plan. Not even a plan. It's a well-projected, like, 90% sure to fall through unless shit just goes off the rail here.
You wake up one night and, like, crickets are all over your apartment?
Actually, worse than that. Like,
okay, worse than that.
Like, I wake up one night and my buddy is dead, and
let's not go there. That's dark.
like the worst possibility ever. We've sat down and we've done the math and we've like looked at the scope of our reality here.
Okay.
If more like when we get a product, because crickets are easy and yet difficult at the same time until you know what you're doing. Once you know what you're doing, once you get it down, which we're getting it down very slowly, but we're getting it down surely. So let me back up before I get into this story here. When we first started...
Is this about this weekend?
This has nothing to do with this weekend.
Shit! Because we still have to talk about that. Sorry.
We can talk about that here in a minute.
Keep going.
But
I do want to hear about that.
And I want to talk to I'm just going to say his name, Hiet. I want to talk to Hiet later on. But basically, when we started, we had 2 crates. We had one for the babies, which we never actually filled yet. We haven't filled yet. We had one for the first crickets. So we bought a package of 500 crickets, and when we received them, 200 of them were dead. So we sent those back and we got more, but we ended up buying 3 packages. We're on a 3rd package now, and we have this 3rd package was 1,000 crickets. And out of that 1,000, 600 of them were like dead, and
Jesus,
like 400 were alive. But we've, through trial and error, have been able. I'm currently sustaining them to the point where they're full-grown adults now. We've never been at that point.
Oh.
Because you know they're full grown. You know when crickets chirp.
Okay.
They're full grown adults.
Right.
They will continue to get older, but they will no longer grow.
Okay.
Which, you know, so
I'm learning things.
I now have full grown adult crickets, and
You're a proud papa.
Yeah, we're at a good place. I've seen eggs, and I've actually had a couple eggs hatch, and so there's some babies. Anyways, that's kind of relevant to the story, but not really. Once we get the process completely down and are able to grow crickets, we're going to have a product. Like, it's guaranteed. It's almost guaranteed.
Why don't you explain to people on this podcast what your product is? Because I think a lot of people... Okay, so I'll just say, like, in context, when you mentioned to me you were going to do a cricket business, I was like, what the fuck are you going to do with crickets?
Right.
So, like, are you going to... Like, is it going to be, like, live bait?
So, to kind of promote this, I don't care. I hope you don't care if I'm promoting.
I don't care. Yeah. I mean, you're going to be promoting it to at least my sister.
So
shout out to Heather Hoback for listening to my podcast so far. Okay, keep going.
And Charles Goodrich.
Charles, right? Chuck?
Yes,
Charles.
Charles. I made sure of that.
Sorry, Charles. Not last time.
Anyways, so to promote this a little bit, basically the theory here is 1%. 1% is like 1% is the number throughout. So if you have cattle, okay, and you kill a cow, and you skin it, and you take the meat from it to get 1% of what they call live weight meat.
Oh, okay.
To get 1 pound of live weight meat, you need 12.3 kilograms of feed to get that 1 kilogram of meat.
Okay.
Basically, for each 1 kilogram. The opposite, for 1 kilogram of cricket, you need 1.3 kilograms of feed for 1 kilogram of cricket, which is like a fucking 1,000 crickets or something like that.
Okay.
So basically, you're using 0.3 kilograms more feed to get 1 kilogram cricket compared to 12.3 kilograms of feed to get 1 kilogram of beef, which the scales are very,
right.
A lot more food waste goes towards the cattle than goes towards cricket.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then alongside of that, the environmental aspect. Okay, so you have cattle, you have a big fucking ranch or whatever you have.
Right.
Like this huge, massive thing. You have so much.
You got a big ranch of crickets now, right?
Well, I don't have a ranch. I have a box.
Yeah, but that's your ranch in this metaphor.
In this metaphor, so you have cattle. If you have cattle, you have a couple acres to 100 acres, however many acres, depending on what your size of cattle is.
Okay.
And your greenhouse gases, or your environmental effect, goes up with cattle. Now with cricket, there's almost zero environmental effect because they don't produce as much gas.
Right.
Right? You could have 5 million crickets produce as much gas as 1 baby calf.
Okay.
Right? That's not exactly the numbers, but somewhere around there. So the whole idea is sustainability, environmental friendly kind of shit. And we're trying to produce. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not trying to, if anybody's listening who this pertains to, we're trying to push towards the more liberal side of people. College, Grinnell College, stuff like that. People who live in Oregon, California.
So what's your final product? I think that's
Our final product is debatable. We're looking at either A, just straight cricket flour, which is basically the whole process. I don't want to give too much away. Basically, it's just to freeze them, boil them, and then grind them up. And
it would essentially be flour made from crickets.
Basically straight flour,
as in like
wheat flour.
Yeah, baking goods.
That is initially our thought, but
now are you thinking like hamburger meat?
Well, see, flour is not a niche because other people do it. There's so many other, a niche is what you're known for.
Flour's environmentally, friendly.
Right, but it's the whole idea is that it's not a niche because other companies do flour.
Yeah.
Other companies do flour. Other companies do granola bars. Other companies do this. So to find our niche, we need to do something different. So my proposal, in which we're debating on this, my proposal was to like do like I don't know, pizza dough or something like that. Our niche would be something other companies haven't done with crickets before. And I don't want to give too much away because obviously if I talk...
Cell phones. Make cell phones out of crickets.
I mean, if we could do that, we would do it.
You would be billionaires.
So the numbers were run.
Biodegradable cell phones.
And with this up and coming, it's a very there was a basketball team who, when they're having one of their games, during their games, they were selling tacos with crickets incorporated into them. I don't know how, if they were whole crickets or if they were just part of the ingredient or something, but there were crickets incorporated into them. They were selling tacos. And so it's growing. It's a growing idea. People are starting to like it because
a lot of people are digging this cricket.
Think about in the 1930s, which neither one of us were alive in the 1930s, but if you think about it, factually, seafood such as shrimp, crawdads, crab as well, and lobster.
Okay.
All of these things were seen as disgusting, vile meals.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like shrimp is bugs of the sea.
Yeah. Well, and the lowest of the low would eat shrimp. Mm-hmm. And now, if you were to go to Maine, crab and shrimp.
It's not cheap. Anywhere you go.
High on the list.
Yeah.
Very high. Especially here in the Midwest, considering we're in the middle.
Yeah.
So you go to California, that's wrong direction. Eastern, western seaboard. Shrimp and whatever, tilapia, all that other fish and seafood. Very viable product and, good product, But 1930s, it was looked down upon to eat shrimp. And it was looked down upon to eat crab and lobster and crawdad. Which it's still kind of looked down upon for crawdad because they're kind of just buggy looking creatures.
Right.
But the whole idea here is cricket and mealworm and all this other stuff. Self-sustainability and environmentally friendly kind of meals are becoming to skyrocket. They're becoming more and more popular. And so, anyways, the whole meat of my story here is we ran the numbers, and we're expecting here in 5 to 10 years, if we do good, to be bought out by probably more than likely by like Monsanto, because Monsanto is always expanding. They're not seeds anymore.
Right.
It's what it used to be. So we're
cricket corn. Sorry.
So we're expecting to be bought out, and roughly by a pretty large amount, and that's what we're hoping for, because we don't want to have to go through it. And this ties back to the whole being bought out for, I don't even remember what we
we were talking about, Disney, essentially the Disney Fox.
Disney buying us out.
We were talking about if someone bought us Catchy for $52
right.
billion. Just letting you all know, if you hit that number mark, we're totally for sale.
But
I don't just mean like the Catchy thing. I will sell myself for $52 billion.
You can have me. I will wear a dress every goddamn day of my life.
I will run around in a monkey suit and just
just eat bananas and throw shit at people.
Throw shit at people. Yeah. I'm great at pooping in my hand.
But yeah, that was the projection, is in like 5-10 years to be bought out. And my whole thing is principle. So if people offered us $10, $20, $30 million for this Catchy thing, I'm a principle guy. Like I stick to my roots. And so I have a hard time. We were talking about tips. How I had a hard time accepting tips.
So this was my comparison to Darian, because Darian's offered me, I give him 20 movie posters, he gives me his PS4. I said that in the realm of him having trouble accepting tips, That being like the moral compass of why I have trouble giving him 20 movie, because I have plenty of movie posters to just give away. I just like it just like it makes me feel bad. Like I feel like that's a bad deal for you.
See, and that's where I'm a nurture versus nature kind of guy. I'm a like when you become what you. My idea is you become when you grow up and you see life, you become whatever you see. So that's the whole nature versus nurture debate.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm more of on the nurture side. I know there's a little bit of nature in you. There's a little bit of who you're gonna be. There's predetermined destiny for you, but I also believe that you can change a little bit of that by adapting to your surroundings. And so when I went and worked at Hy-Vee, I was thinking, they always talk. The whole Hy-Vee thing is don't accept tips. You can't accept tips. Tips are no good.
Oh.
So when I moved from Hy-Vee to the deli, tips are no good to me. I always thought of tips as a bad thing. So accepting tips is a bad idea.
That's interesting.
And so I'm a principle guy. Like that's my background. So when it comes to like selling out of something like Catchy, I mean, obviously $10-20 million from me would I'd be like
$50 billion.
Of course I would do that.
Sale. We don't drop from that, Darren.
Of course I would do that.
20 million. What are you doing?
But the day of that deal, I'd be like, am I making a good decision? Could I possibly make more than $50 million? Which I probably guaranteed wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, if we ever.
It's just one of those principal ideas of like.
Well, so my principle added is the idea that like if they offer me something that I could sustain officially after that, I would be happy. And like so like the concern for me about trading off my posters right now is I put in a pitch with a company to see if I could get them to buy my posters in a whole lot. And if they do that, idealistically, I might be able to make enough to get a laptop that's twice as powerful as my computer. I may even be able to afford a PC that's 4 times as powerful as my computer now.
Nice.
I would also be able to get a second microphone for podcasting. I was like, I could get a monitor, but I got that one. And then I could also get a camera with some microphones to be able to go out and do interviews with. So then it would sort of increase my video game playing and streaming abilities. It would increase my my camera work, like being able to go out and actually like film interviews and stuff like that. And then it would increase it would add into my goals and my dreams. However, they said they have a thing that says like if we don't get back to you, we're obviously not interested. We don't have the ability to call everybody back for all these offers, and chances are they probably won't call me back.
Mm-hmm.
And a PS4 would also lead into my dreams of playing Last of Us 2. And then you were able to almost slightly convince me with the fact that you say you need decorations for your apartment. But I still feel bad about this thing. Like I feel so bad about it. I don't know.
What is an offer you would accept? Like what?
Well, so like I feel.
What would make you feel less bad?
Well, it's tough, man.
Everything's Gucci with this PlayStation. I would wipe it clean because I would upload all my shit onto the cloud because I know I'm gonna buy another one like a couple months from now. So here's the deal. I move out in March and I'm gonna move back into my parents for a couple months until I move with Laura into her apartment.
She has an apartment?
We're gonna be getting into our apartment.
Together.
We're gonna get one together.
Okay.
Also, I need $200 because she gave me $100 because our Christmas gifts to each other was our deposit for the new apartment. which is $200. So hers part was gonna be $100, and my part was gonna be $100. I took that money, and she was getting on my ass for not applying for UNI, and so I applied for UNI, and their application fee is like fucking $100. So so as soon as she gave me that money, it was out of my account the very next day.
Did she So did she get into UNI?
She's going to hockey. She's playing the route I played, which is going to community college before going to a university. She hates UNI. So
you guys thinking about moving to?
We're gonna be moving to Waterloo because she's gonna be going to Hawkeye, and she would rather. And I feel the same. When it comes to be wintertime, she would rather have to drive a mile. And I would feel more comfortable driving 35 miles compared to her driving 35 miles and me driving a mile. You know,
right.
I would rather me drive the distance than her drive the distance when it comes to wintertime. So, we're going to be going to Cedar. We're going to be going to Waterloo, and I'll just be commuting to Cedar Falls whenever classes are.
Yeah.
So that's so we were supposed to put in money for the deposit, which was going to be $200, but then I got a $60 application fee, and now I have rent coming up that I'm 4 days late on.
Ooh.
Today is 4th or the 5th.
Today's the 5th, I think. Yeah.
5 days late on. Really not that late though, because he said in the contract it was like you have up until the 3rd to pay rent or whatever. I talked to him. I told him like, you know, I got paid yesterday. My payday was yesterday, so today I'll be paying my rent. I already prepaid rent.
So you're essentially saying you need money though.
I need money, but at the same time I'm staring at white walls, and I hate that. I hate.
Well, see, that would make it less. That would give me less want to give you to make that deal, because you need money to do like the things that you need to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you need cash more than you need something to decorate.
But I'd figure out the cash thing. I mean, next week I get paid again, and that would be the rest of my money. That'd pay for my deposit is my next week, because I'm working. So we had a guard die.
Yeah.
Monday we had a guard die, and this is gonna lead me into my weekend. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about your weekend. I would love to. Like you said.
First,
you really
how much time have we gone? 36 minutes.
Yeah, I have like another like.
No, I mean I don't care either.
I have another half hour if you're cool.
So okay. How am I say? Oh, I can hear myself now. I had a hat on and with the like muffle.
Yeah, you have the.
It's like a little, raccoon hunting hat.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain.
If people were watching the broadcast, like
well, they were. Whoever was watching on YouTube saw it.
Be watching.
So, and it muffles I can't hear as well. And anyways, so on Monday, Christmas Eve, a guard died. His name was Morris Tufty, or Maurice, however you want to pronounce it.
Oh.
He was 90 years old, and the motherfucker was strong as hell. If you're 90 years old, walking 6 miles a day is what we
That's
do.
Pretty good.
We do as security. It's about 6 to 7, in between 6 to 7, depending on how you do your rounds.
That's pretty good, because I put in like 4.5 waiting tables.
Yeah. Well, and that's a fast paced kind of shit.
Yeah, you don't stop moving.
Anyways, this guy is 90 years old, and like I think I get out of breath when I'm walking up these stairs. Like I'll be walking up a couple flights of stairs to get to my third, whatever floor, and
a poor 90-year-old bastard.
And then there's this 90-year-old guy, and I wonder how much he gets out of breath. He probably is in better shape than I am. I don't.
Yeah.
But anyways,
when you do it every day for so long.
Yeah. So the guy was trying to get water from his well, and apparently he walked out there, and his son lives with him, but his son didn't know he was going to get water.
Okay.
And this is some old-fashioned shit. I mean, who gets water out of their well?
Right.
But he goes to the well, and as he's looking over and bringing up the bucket, he has a heart attack.
Oh my gosh.
And he falls into the well.
Yeah.
Falls over the edge into the well. Now, the well is only 6 feet deep, but as a 90-year-old man...
Yeah, that's enough.
And so, who knows how he actually... The autopsy, I don't exactly remember exactly what it said, but basically they had no idea how he died. They said he more than likely died of a combination of heart attack, falling 6 feet, and freezing to death.
Oof.
Which would be a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
Anyways, to not get so deep, guy dies. So here I am. I'm the calling guy, okay?
Right.
So whenever, not whenever, because I have a pretty set schedule right now, which is usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And then random Fridays from 8 to 4, from 4 to midnight for another guy who has knee issues. So he wants a couple of days a month off. So I fill in for him every once in a while. And now with him dying, I'm going to be filling in for him on weekends, which was his weekend job was 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. So my next week looks like so Saturday, this upcoming Saturday, I work 8 to 4. Sunday I worked 8 to 4. Monday I come in after I get off at 4 p.m. I come in at midnight, the same right after. So I'll be sleeping 6 hours in between, and then come back into work, and then school starts Monday.
Okay.
And so I have school starting Monday, and then I have school all day Thursday and Wednesday and Friday, and I have to work midnight to 8 these days, and school all day, and I have to go. Friday I'll be getting off. I'll be working for the other guard from 4 to midnight, getting off, coming back in 8 a.m. Saturday. So as you can see, I'm really fucking just
yeah, you're just going.
Right. And so it's just been it's gonna be kind of stressful up until the point where I can board the ship and travel
Get
around.
on that ship.
Yeah.
So what was this weekend?
The weekend was did I tell you last time? Did I tell you the story about me losing my keys?
Yeah.
And stuff. Okay. So, Monday.
That was your Christmas miracle.
Yeah. Monday, and I also wanted to bring up the Davis curse.
Yeah.
The Davis curse, I'm going to really lead into the weekend here. The Davis curse is the fact that everywhere either I or my dad goes, something wrong happens. So I'm blaming the reason that we don't have video right now on the fact that I'm here. I also blame the reason that our mic echoes from the time that, when it was echoing. Something wrong always happens wherever I'm at.
Well, yeah, we fixed the echo, now we have a camera being a little bitch.
When I worked at Hy-Vee, I got the nickname Carl. Because every time something would go wrong, I was there. They called me Carl the Raccoon. Because shit would go missing. People would lose shit. We would fry chips, and all of a sudden you turn around and there'd just be a fucking floor of chips. Just.
Oh, I remember hearing about that.
Floor of
too.
chips.
I think
they wrote Carl on my name tag. Crossed out my name and wrote Carl.
Dicks.
Carl. Because every time I would be around, shit would happen. And even when I quit the job, I would get messages from my manager with a picture message of whatever happened, and she would say, "Fuck you, Carl." She'd send me a picture message of a pie being tipped over.
Oh my god!
And it'd be like, "Fuck you, Carl." And I was like, I wasn't even there. She goes, "I know, but as soon as you started working here, shit started going wrong."
Oh my god!
So there's a Davis curse. So Monday night, I go out with Laura. We have a $50 gift certificate to Outback Steakhouse. So we go there and we fucking splurge. And we get an appetizer and we both get like a $28 meal. Laura gets a steak and lobster and I get steak and shrimp.
Holy hell.
And anyway, the meal ends up being $70 and Laura pays $90 because she's a good tipper. And I'm air quoting this. She tipped the fuck out of that lady.
$20. So if you do 20% of $70 is $14.
Right.
So $84 would have been
just fine. And she's a heavy tipper. Now, if it would have been me, and I don't know how you feel about this being a waiter and everything.
Yeah.
I would have tipped $5. I'm frugal like that.
At $70, that's a dick move.
It is a dick move. That's who I am now.
Cause the fact that that person.
Here's the deal, Jerry. Do you like Jay or Jerry more?
Technically Jay on the podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna call you. All right, so Jay. Here's the deal.
Okay.
We're both ordering the same amount of food.
Right.
She delivered us 3 plates.
Okay. Did she do a good job?
She did a great job. But she delivered us 3 plates. Whether it be a $20 meal or a $70 meal, she didn't do any more work. Is what I'm getting at. Like it could have been, we could have got $10 burgers.
But the thing about tipping is it's a form of communication. So if you tip $5 to her, that means she did a shit job. If you tip,
but see now, what if it was a 20% tip? What if it was $5 was a 20% tip for a less expensive meal?
Then that communicates that she did a good job.
Okay.
Because it's less about how much work she does, and it's more about how good of a job she does. And it's based off of percentage.
I guess I don't think about it. See now, my aunt doesn't matter. My aunt could buy a lemonade or something, and she'll tip $50.
Jesus.
Every tip she lays is $50.
Tell her to head over to West Side.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much it is. It's $50.
So I and the thing about it is though is it's not. To me, it's not that big of a deal, because I have we feed more of the older generation, so they'll tip $1, and to them that's a lot of money.
Right.
And they'll tip $1. They'll get a $10, $15 meal. They'll tip $1, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. And sometimes I get one guy actually, because he felt bad for keeping us well past close, just talking to my boss, he tipped us $30. Tipped me $30. No one else tipped me $30. I was like, this guy's awesome. I don't really take it so personally, because I try to do a good job regardless. And so each time that I go out on the floor, I use it as a learning experience.
Right.
The thing that's interesting is that I was thinking about the other day is that my customers pay me more than my boss does. So,
well, yeah.
So I try and give them more than I give my boss. But that's tricky territory, because my boss is the one who gives me the job, and it gives me the outlet to get the money. But at the same time, my customers actually pay me more. In fact, sometimes they pay me 3 times more, usually typically twice as much.
I see that. I saw that when I worked at Denny's. Our boss got called a douchefuck almost every night.
I don't think
by the wait staff.
I love the thing about Westside is I love my bosses. I love my coworkers. My job can be sometimes taxing. There's sometimes where it's rewarding, but I love who I work with and who hired me. Even Bruce can be. Bruce is the definition of transparent. So when we worked for Todd would say, I'm transparent. But then when I pissed him off, I don't
you
find out
know
until
about
I got fired.
Yeah.
He says he's transparent. He's full of shit. Bruce is transparent. In fact, there's times where I've been more upset with Bruce for saying things like he'd be like, you guys need to like talk less and work harder. And if you don't think you can do that, then we're going to have to find someone who can. And to me, that's saying, I'll fire you. Which, in my brain, I'm thinking, I've already had one asshole fire me. I'm not ready for a second.
Right.
But at the same time, at least I know. Like, at least I know. And then Bruce always has this, like, ability to come back later and be like, are we good? You know, and it's like, yeah, we're good. You know, like, I love Bruce. Like, he's a great boss for being as transparent as he is. And Bruce and Laura are, like, two extremes. Laura wants to make sure everyone's good. Bruce is like, just do your job, okay? Just do your job, F you. That's how Bruce is. So, I love the people that I work for, even when they're the hardest to work with sometimes.
Right. What, can I ask what the atmosphere is like what, at West Side? Because I want to kind of see what your atmosphere was like, because when I compare shit to Denny's.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, Denny's, from what it sounds like to me, is like no one wants to be there.
Okay, so what Denny's was like is we all knew that we were very well susceptible to being replaced easily.
Yeah,
because it was fucking Denny's. And we were right off of I-80. And that was just one of those jobs that no matter what position we held, we could be replaced very easily because there's a franchise and shit like that. And so we all acted like we could be replaced easily. So when we talked to each other, it was like, wash those fucking cocksucking dishes, you motherfucker. Like,
Jesus.
Kind of shit like that. And you know, the manager was always like, he'd be back in the kitchen with us working, and we'd be flipping burgers, and he's like, who's got the goddamn music? You know, we need to change this fucking station. And I'd be like, because I'd play like classic rock usually.
Yeah,
that'd be my thing. And he was like this like hardcore rock guy. Like he would like listen to screamo music. And anyways, so the whole atmosphere was like everyone's better than everybody. And we all just did our shit. And so I want to know what your atmosphere was like.
So the thing about West Side is I mean, you people are very replaceable. I think you should be able to know that anywhere you go. Unless you're running the business or a manager, you're pretty replaceable. However, so I have like 15 years customer service experience. So I have my own personal value, and I try to be as flexible as I can to work with people. The people that I work with, so the 3 waitresses each have 10 plus years experience.
Shit.
So one thing that I went in going to, and Bruce and Laura have like 30 years experience, and this is such a radical difference between working at the deli and working there. Bruce and Laura have been running that place for almost 40 years actually. Matt has been managing for 10 years. The waitresses have 10 years experience. The kitchen staff has like 2 to 3 years experience. And then there's me.
Mm-hmm. Which is like a year and a half or so.
I have about a year and a half now. But when I stepped in there, like, I literally like had a lot to learn, but I had the best people to learn from. Mm-hmm. Like, I respect experience.
Was it a culture? Was it like a shock going from management to?
It was so much more relaxing because you know me. Like when I was managing, I was a bit of a dick.
You were very high strung.
Yeah, I was high strung. I was a bit of a dick. Tyler.
I enjoyed working with you, but you were very high strung.
Tyler quit because like I straight up looked at him one day and was like, so I had this big old ball of frozen chicken and it wasn't thawed out enough. And his job was to come in. He was a prep cook. His job was to come in, cook the chicken, and shred it. Basically, that was his job. It was frozen balls, so he couldn't figure out how to get that done. And that's fine. That was on me. But the way that he handled the situation was like he basically, until about 15 minutes beforehand, did nothing, and then was like, just sent me a message like, I'm going home, never couldn't get it done.
Whoa, that's not the way to handle anything.
Rather than, I was like, you could have messaged me like an hour beforehand and been like, I don't know what to do here, can I get your help? And I could have come in for 15 minutes and helped you out. Right. And then I wouldn't have to do the job that you're getting paid to do. Mm-hmm. It's like, you're getting paid to make my job easier. Like, that's and I was a dick about it, and he quit. He was like, I don't fucking need this. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. I was a dick. So now I'm literally the bottom of the food chain, and I'm like, this is great. Like, it's so relaxing. Like, and now I'm down to one job, which is even better. Like, I don't have to do anything other than show up to Westside, work, and then I can go home and I can do podcasts, I can stream video games, I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's so nice. But the thing about it though is everyone has 30 years experience. In comparison to the deli, where Todd, like, this is the first time he's ever done anything with a restaurant. He's doing like 40 other things. And so he works at the deli maybe 2 to 3 times a month and would come in and tell me what to do. And for a while it worked great, but then, there were things that were like little petty disagreements, like the dishes. Like, it drove me nuts that they would let the customers just put the dishes on the countertop, and it drove them nuts that I would say, please don't put that there, please put it on the dish rack out where I left it. And they would say, well, you can't say that to people. And it's like, well, I can't have dirty dishes sitting there because that's a health hazard.
Yeah, it just looks, and it also just looks horrible.
It looks horrible, and it's a health hazard. If the state man came in, he would shut us down.
Right.
Or at least write us up for it. And that's not good. So then my respect for his opinion on those things and how I would handle it were lower because Todd's only experience with restaurants was he would start waiting tables at fucking Prairie Canary to get experience.
Right.
So you go into a place at Westside where everyone has all this experience, 30 years, 10 years plus experience, you trust their word on it. Mm-hmm. You feel like that they've gone through 10 years of trial and error at least to figure it out. So you trust their word on it. Bruce, Matt, Laura, Julie, Christina, Jess, even the kitchen guys who have 2+ years experience, you trust their word. So it's so much more relaxing. It's so much better if you just go with the flow. Well, there are some people that come in, like waitresses and stuff that come in, and they weren't so great about that. They didn't have that mindset, so they would fight it. They've been replaced. you know? But it doesn't feel like, it's just that it's a nice place to work. There's some conflict sometimes, but I think you're never going to find a place with zero conflict.
Right. I had going into the deli 3 years experience, and fucking Todd fought me on everything, and I told him, and every time I go in there, I see the shit he has incorporated, all of my shit. I told him, I was like, dude, we got to do it this way. We got to do it this way. Like, it's like state law that we have to do it this way.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't agree with me, and now he finally has it set.
Yeah.
And that pissed me off. Can I ask you, in all honesty, and I don't give a fuck what you say. Like, you know me. Like, okay. I don't care what people say. Like, I don't care criticism. What was it like working with me?
Working with you?
I don't care.
So, it's really funny. Okay, so looking at that perspective of time, it drove me nuts that you were late, like almost every time, like 2 or 3 minutes.
I'm always late.
At least.
I'm always late everywhere.
Always fucking late. And I would be like, just learn to be 15 minutes early. Like, I was just trying to instill that in you. From the perspective of today, the manager of the kitchen has been known to show up 2 hours late to work a lot. Like, they finally kind of got that worked out of him. But he's like that. He is a late type of guy. I'm still early or on time or a minute late, but I don't like. So perspective then, that used to be frustrating.
What can I chime in here? People know of me, like if like Lara's parents, even when they talk about me, He's always late.
Yeah, that's one thing. That was the only thing that really drove me nuts. The other thing was like you had like a million ideas, and I was trying to handle Todd's ideas and my compromises, and then I have you being like, "Hey, what about this?" I'm just like, as a manager, I'm just like, I can't deal with any more ideas. Like, but I was like, okay, we'll see. You know, like I tried to take it, but like other than that, like every other time, like I really enjoyed working with you. Like all the shifts and shit like that, and it was nice to be able to leave and be able to depend on you.
Right.
Because you did like there was only like 1 or 2 times where it was like pork, and pork was.
It was just the pulled pork was just the fucking downfall.
Yeah, and that was the hot button was like fuck pork, man.
If I'm gonna be completely honest, I really enjoyed working with you. I think it was the fact that we were friends,
right?
And that you were higher than me, and we were friends, put me off a little bit.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I don't think you. Well, I don't know actually.
See, like with this podcast, we're good.
Yeah.
Because we're equal.
Yeah.
Like it's J and D's podcast.
I think it depends because like I'm actually friends with. You know, the guy who's going to be owning West Side soon, the manager, right. Matt,
but
the son of Bruce and Laura. I'm friends with them, but
you worked for him first. You worked for him first before you were friends with him.
No,
right? You've always known him
for a long time. Yeah, I was actually horribly nervous to come and work for him because I didn't want to ruin our friendship because of basically what happened with Todd and what happened to like. I mean, I have a track record of like so. You know, I'm still really good friends with the manager at the movie theater, but I had my frustrations working for him. And then I had my frustrations working at Gamers, and when I left, I had more frustrations.
Did you cut yourself on your thumb or something?
Oh, yeah, I cut my hand really bad on New Year's Eve. Huh. I was cutting limes and lemons, and I sliced my finger.
I still haven't told you about the weekend.
I thought you did.
No, that wasn't the.
God damn it!
The rest of it.
So let me finish this real quick. So I left with my frustrations, and then I leave with even worse frustrations with Todd and Todd's son, where it went so messy and so awful. And now I'm moving into West Side. But the great thing about West Side is like I'm a peon, and I just got to be a peon, and it's nice.
But you enjoy it, like you like what you do, right?
I love the people that I work for. I love the people that I work with. I don't know if I 100% love my job. You
don't think this would be your lifetime job? You'd like to do more with your life.
Yeah, I would love to do more in the kitchen. I'm really interested in restaurant marketing. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff there.
You had some fucking genius ideas when it came to advertisement for the deli. And Todd would have none of it. I don't know, did we both tell him about marketing to the Grinnell College, and he had didn't want anything to do with advertising.
Yeah, well, he felt like the Grinnell College was there already, or he wanted us to go put posters up at the menu posters up on the campus.
He also
then he would send Sadie to go do.
He also just wanted just the Grinnell College. Well, a deli can't survive off of just the Grinnell College.
Well, so I had an idea to do like an on-foot delivery service, which I think would have doubled or tripled their money.
Fuck yes.
Downtown, because there was a number of people that said if you could walk my food to me, we'd be good.
Right.
Hello, one person. I don't know who's watching this, but hello. Sorry.
Wait, there's one person watching this.
Yeah, I can see that. That went from a 0 to a 1.
Nice.
I'm excited.
I keep getting notifications on my phone about you have one new visitor to Catchy on Facebook.
Yeah, that happens all the time. They're like, someone
one person
I don't care.
Every other day.
I hope if it gets up to 200-300 people a day someday, that's not a constant thing. Like 300 people looked at Catchy today, and I'm like, I don't.
Dude, if we got a notification for every person who looked at Catchy,
I'd be pissed. So let's switch back to the topic of this weekend, because you said you really want to talk about it, but I need to know what happened.
Okay.
This has been a 2-hour.
So with me working more, I had to work. I didn't have to work Monday, but I had to work Tuesday. Okay. Sorry, let me rephrase that as a normal person kind of thought. I didn't have to work Sunday night, but I had to work Monday night. Okay. So Monday night we come back from Outback, and we go, and me and Laura I had to do some stuff in Grinnell, and so I take her with me to Grinnell. We come back from Outback from Cedar Rapids, take her with me to Grinnell, and we come back to my place. We're just watching some TV, and we go, and it's she had to be home by midnight for some reason, because she had to be up at like 5 in the morning or something for babysitting. So she wanted to be home by midnight, and so we leave, and I had to work at midnight. So
that's some hardcore young people shit right there. By the way, I gotta be in bed by midnight. I gotta be up at 5 tomorrow. My wife's like, I'm going to bed at 8. Yeah. Don't make a noise.
Right. Like. So and I had to work at midnight. So we leave. We like in the car by like 10:50 or 10:55, and I pull out, and as I'm pulling out, I hear like a dragging sound. I'm horrible at, when you do like driver's ed and shit, to tell you to do your like checks. You walk around the car, you gotta check your tires, you gotta make sure there's nothing leaking underneath the car. They tell you to do all these checks before you even get in the car and start it. I don't do that shit. I don't know how many Americans do. So I get in the car, I pull out, and I notice that there's a dragging sound. Well, I stop at the stop sign as I'm driving along, and I get out and I look. Tire is very well low. Oh. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to pull around, because I was already away from my apartment. So I'm going to pull around, try to get back. And as I'm pulling around the block, I hear all of a sudden, like a scraping.
Oh, no.
It was on its rims by the time I get like halfway around the block. No. So I pull into a spot. Mind you, this is Monday night at like 11:30. It was like 13 degrees below.
Oh, God, no.
And I get out of my car, and I walk to my apartment, freezing balls. My dad bought me this portable, like, air compressor.
Yeah.
So I get to my apartment, get back out. I call, as I'm walking to my apartment, I call one of the guards. I say, hey, Francine, can you cover for me while I'm trying to air up my tire? It is flat. She goes, no problem. I'll do that for you. I go, I'll call you in case I don't need to, because, it was like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I still had time. So I'll call you if I don't need you to. But in case I do, can you just cover for me for this time being? So I get my air compressor, and I come back to the car, and I get in it. And it's one of those you have to plug it into a cigarette lighter in order to work it.
Right.
Well, I remembered that I was borrowing my mom's car, because my car was at my parents' house, and when I got there, we had to do something Saturday. Oh yeah, I had to move furniture, because my parents are giving me their couch, and so they bought a new couch.
Okay.
So they're giving me their couch, which is a nice couch. So the least I could do was help them deliver the new couch and move out the old couch into storage for me to pick up. So I was doing that Saturday. So Sunday night came along when and I wasn't able to take my vehicle with me back home, because it wasn't starting because it was too cold.
Okay.
So I had my parents' vehicle. And so I remembered, as I was trying to plug in the air compressor, I was trying to air up the tire, that none of the cigarette lighters worked.
Oh my gosh.
So here I am. I had to walk half a block to my house, half a block back, just to realize that what I did was for no reason, because the cigarette lighters didn't work. So I called Francine again. Hey, might be a little late, because it was about like 11:15 at this time, and that we were still in Grinnell. And so I tried calling people. I figuring shit out, saying, hey, can you take Laura home? Because I have to work. Can't do this. Nobody answered. People who did answer were in like Ames and shit. And I was like,
shit.
Fuck it. So we go over, we get in the car, we're like, okay, the portable thing won't work. So we creep our way on snow because, you know, if you're once you're on the rim, you can't drive on concrete. So we were going on snow as far as we could to come and go, which was just around the block.
Yeah, they
got the air compressor frozen solid.
Oh shit.
The hose. So I told Laura to go get us hot water. She gets hot water from the inside. It comes back out. I dump the hot water, and finally I'm able to like bend the shit and like turn it on and stuff.
Okay.
Barely any air comes out. Like I hold the trigger and it's just like a solid kind of thing. And I'm able to air up the other 4 tires. Like just to test it, I try to air up the other tire and it works good. But with that tire, for some reason, it just wasn't airing up. And so, like, I finally called Francine for the 3rd time. I said, hey, my tire is flat. I'm not able to come in. And I go into the store, come and go. I say, hey, can I leave my car here? I have a flat tire. I can't do anything. It's on its rims. Call my dad, tell him the whole situation. And Laura calls her mom. And so we're sitting here fucked. I'm like a duck in middle of the water kind of situation. Not able to go to work. My dad's pissed. It wasn't my fault. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Linda Tire fixed it the next day, but Laura had to go home, and so she called her mom, and her mom woke up, and it was like midnight by the time we got to her mom.
Right.
She exhausted all of her other options, and so her mom comes in, and as she's coming in, we end up walking back to my house, and we're sitting there just talking and stuff, and it's taken forever for her mom to get there. Okay, so it should be a 15-20 minute drive from Brooklyn to Grinnell. It's taking forever. So we're getting worried. We're texting her. Her mom says, I hit a fucking deer.
God damn it.
She hit a deer on the way to pick us up.
Oh, man.
Like, you would think your night can't get any more worse. And then the lady is supposed to pick you up hits a goddamn deer.
Shit.
And it was just a weird chain of events.
It's a lot of bad luck.
Just a horrible luck.
Yeah.
And then I get into work the next day. And then my boss comes in. And he goes, you're in a lot of trouble. I'm like, fuck. And because the lady covered for her, and he came in and saw that she was covering for me, and I've had since I started there, I took a week off, and like the very first month of me starting there, I took a week off, and then when I come back, the very next week of me coming back from the vacation that I took off for, throwing up like crazy.
Okay.
So I was, and then I got locked out of my apartment, so I was 30 minutes late, and so I've had a lot of bad experiences for being there for like the first. I've only been there since November.
Okay.
I've had so many times where I've either wasn't able to work because I was sick, or he goes, "You're in trouble." I was like, "Fuck!" I know I'm like, did I tell you that our company is being bought out? Did we talk about this last pod?
Grinnell Mutual?
Not Grinnell Mutual. So Allied Universal is the company I work for security, which is a third-party company.
Okay. I thought you were breaking some huge news shit on me.
This is kind of actually pretty big. So we were looking for 3 years. Those guards have been at the same pay.
Yeah.
We were looking for an increase of pay, and they were doing a negotiation. And the lady who we work for, our client,
okay,
way over budget. So we weren't able to get that. So they put out bids, and Permar, another security company, outbid us. So instead of us getting a raise, we're sticking with the same company. We're with the Permar, but with the same wage.
Okay.
No raise. And so we've been going through a lot of shit. We got this whole new company coming in. Guard dies. My whole life is crazy, messed up right now.
Okay.
So my boss comes in. You're in a lot of trouble. I'm like, fuck, why? He goes, apparently you can't put your shoe on the right foot. I'm like, what? Like, I didn't know he was joking at the time. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I've had several reports that you've been walking lopsided because you can't put your goddamn shoe on the right foot. I'm sitting here still, like, baffled by his comment. I'm like, what? And he goes, I'm just kidding, Darian. I'm sitting here thinking, that was a joke. And I'm like, I had the hardest week. Just random shit. When we were moving furniture, my mom decides to fucking buy new furniture in the goddamn middle of winter.
Yeah.
Moving furniture. I'm wearing my shoes with no tread on them at all.
Yeah.
Sliding around, I'm coming down the hill with a goddamn couch. I'm sliding down the hill with the couch, and my dad's trying to run to keep up with me because I'm sliding and everything. And fucking just worst ass week. And all of a sudden it tops off with, can't put your shoe on the right foot. I'm like, this is just a joke.
I would look at that as like God's humor.
It's just
because it's like you're just like the peak. Like you're looking at possibly getting fired.
Yeah.
Type of scariness, and then it's just like, and a joke.
Yeah.
Punchline, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so we have to cap this because I do have to go to work. But guys, if you're hearing us, I'm Jay. This is Darian.
Delicious D.
Don't call him delicious. Don't
Sweet D, Big D,
no
Big
Ds.
Papa D.
We don't need no D's on this podcast. Anyways, I'm Jay. This is Darian. You can catch me at JDeem anywhere that matters.
And DDarian048 for everything because that's just my thing.
Yeah. So everywhere that matters. You can check us out on those social media platforms. Catchy. At CatchyJD, everywhere that matters for the podcast updates. YouTube, you can see us live. Hopefully you can see us next time. But guys, it's going to be another couple of weeks before we get back. So 2 weeks from this Friday will hopefully be our next
While
broadcast.
You're gone, do you want me to keep up? And while I'm gone, do you want to keep up for me?
Yeah, so what'll probably happen is Darian will probably have something planned for that Friday. So a week from today. And you can feel free to broadcast from the Catchy JD YouTube channel, which I'll have to give you some information on, so then that way you can log in on YouTube. But that following Friday, while Darian's gone, I will do a video game stream to both my Twitch and to the Catchy JD YouTube page, so you guys can watch me play video games for a little bit. And that'll be sort of my thing. And then the following Friday, we'll probably talk about our Caribbean adventures. Because we're both going to the Caribbean. You're going to the Cayman Islands.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to the Bahamas. So we'll talk about our Caribbean cruise adventures. You got to tell me how many... I just need you to keep a count in your head how many old people come up to you and go, so how many cruises you been on? Like, 'cause I'm not kidding. All the time.
No, because I won't be able to do that because I'll be counting more on how many margaritas I'll be having. So.
I'm not kidding. Like, those old people will approach you constantly. Like, it happens. They barrage you with it. And then you can maybe even play a game of seeing how many years added up that they've been on cruises. I don't know. Okay. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for anybody who's listening, watching. Check us out at CatchyJD. I'm going to set something up on... iTunes here very soon.
Alrighty.
All right. Bye.